going to go ahead and start the call to the audience. So you all are welcome to stay, but if you wanted to tip out, you're welcome to do that too. All right, so citizens attending the meeting shall observe rules of propriety, decorum, and good conduct. Any person making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks or who becomes boisterous while addressing the board may be removed by the sergeant at arms if directed by the chair. Such person may be barred from further audience before the board. Unauthorized remarks from the audience, stomping of feet, whistling, yells, or similar demonstrations shall not be permitted by the chair, who may direct offenders from the hearing room. And with that, I have 5 speaker cards. So if anyone wanted to speak and hasn't put a card in, please do. I have Lori Moore, Shirley Ricard, and Ann Rose.
This on? Oh, there we go. My name is Laurie Moore, MAGA, Maha Republican in District 1. Congratulations, Supervisor Christie. So the post-election results are in. Trump took Arizona, but not Pima County. That's embarrassing since we are a border state. This means that Pima County stands for and voted to keep open borders, drug trafficking, child sex trafficking, and abortion on demand. When Joe Biden and his followers opened the borders, death rolled in. Fentanyl made drug dealers rich and killed over 250,000 Americans. I would like to propose a digital wall be built in Tucson that continuously displays the names of every American who has died by fentanyl, and let it be a constant reminder to those officials who funded the illegal invasion. A non-vote, which is the same as a vote for a Democrat, was a vote to continue child trafficking. Over 400,000 innocent children are unaccounted for, thanks to illegal immigration. Trump says he will punish child traffickers with life in prison. All illegals coming through Pima County were given money, food, lodging, and several one-way tickets anywhere. Will there be punishment for making a trafficker feel welcome? You guys might want to check into that. And then there's Prop 139, abortion on demand. Anytime, anywhere, any stage, no questions asked. 2% of pregnancies are miscarriages. They are not abortions. Miscarriages are the untimely death of a wanted baby. The other 98% are planned abortions. They terminate an unwanted child. Abortion, in this case, is used simply as birth control. There are dozens of ways to stop a pregnancy before having an abortion. Any biology book will spell it out. The difference between a miscarriage and abortion is this. A miscarriage ends in a funeral. An abortion ends in a trash bag on the floor. A popular yet barbaric chant is, "It's my body, it's my choice." And somehow that is supposed to justify a planned abortion. I have a couple chants for Prop 139 voters. How about these? Learn to read before you breed. Or protect those eggs, don't spread your legs. Anyone who did not vote or voted Democrat chose yes to the open border, yes to drug trafficking, yes to child trafficking, and yes to abortion on demand. And 4 elected Democrats on this board are complicit in all of it. Thank you.
Shirley Ricard.
Good morning. I'm here today at the request of Gisela Aaron, who was ill. She left her evidence last time that she was here with screenshots of daily election results after the 2024 general election. She posted them on the Pima County elections website of the Arizona Secretary of State. In looking at Carrie Lake's individual, in particular, campaign, she took screenshots of gains and losses depending on the day of the election. Gains and losses? A tabulation is an exact and specific number. There are no gains and losses. In the list of what she gave me, which is a graph that I could pass out to all of you, we had one drop of 15,200 anyway, over 15,000 drop from total number of ballots cast from one day to the next. The first one was 521,664. The next day it dropped to 506,469. How does that happen? And subsequently, on November 14th, there was a drop from 521,064 to 514,000. So you've got a drop of another 6,000. This is obviously either someone playfully playing with the numbers. It's either incompetence or it's malicious intent. So I believe it's up to the Board of Supervisors to get to the bottom of this. Where is Constance Hargrove? Why is she not being called to give an explanation? These are specific numbers. And Gisela created this spreadsheet. She has the total number of uncounted ballots, which provides a total ballot count. The numbers should not fluctuate up and down. Only ballots already tabulated should go up. This is particularly screamingly and blatantly apparent by Gisela's hard work. We need to, in my opinion, get rid of these election machines. Florida can do the counts. They can get results at the end of one day. Why can't we? Fluctuations of gains and losses, it's unconscionable. Get rid of the machines. They're not efficient, faster, or reliable. They were sold to us for a lie. That it is not the case that they're any of those things. Thank you.
Ann Rose? Dave, oh, there. Dave Smith, followed by Robert Royce, and that would be my last card.
God bless the beasts and the children and the vaccine injured. I'd like to speak today, good morning, except for the vaccine injured, it's probably not a very good morning. But I'd like to speak to you about the remaining funds, the American Rescue Plan, and specifically the line items for the health department. And there seems to be about 34,000 plus for the incentives that were given for Pima County employees to get the COVID shot. Days off, paid, things like that. There's 34,000 plus there and about almost 340,000 in those health department funds remaining. So, Dr. Cullen, if you're hearing me, Mr. Jeffrion, if you hear me, please do a little project on Pima County residents. We know from Dr. Gregory Hess that 80% of the deaths that occur in Pima County occur out in the community, not through his department where he does the coroner's work. So perhaps with the remaining time, the remaining dollars, let's see what this intervention did. We're 3 years in the making now, and it just seems like no one's interested, or maybe everyone's scared. But no one, the Board of Health for sure, just doesn't seem interested in looking at the intervention. Now in nursing, after doing something, pretend you're a patient in the hospital. The nurse comes and does something. Maybe it's a new drug. Wouldn't you feel better if the nurse evaluated the outcome of that intervention to see if it worked or not? You wouldn't want to get it again if it didn't work, right? That's sorely missing from this process. Remember, it's science to evaluate an intervention. Did it work? Did it not? So, maybe in the remaining days of this year and the remaining dollars from ARPA, that perhaps the taxpayers, the residents of Pima County, would have a little more faith in the public servants in the public health sector. And, let's just see what's happening in Pima County. Prove me wrong. The data in Arizona and across the United States shows excess mortality from these shots. By the way, here's a page turner. hot off the press. It's called Moving Beyond the COVID-19 Lies, subtitled Restoring Health and Hope for Humanity. It's a good one.
Thank you. Dave Smith?
Bring my rescue up here. Okay. I encourage anybody to rescue dogs. That's a great thing. All right. Yeah, I just want to take a moment to talk about Ed for 1 second, because as the chairman of the Republican Party, I got to know Ed, and he really represented the kind of politician everybody hopes that they elect, and that is one where the concern of Marana was always his. You know, there was never an issue over which party you were with. It was what was good for Marana, and you could talk to Ed about things as simple as what about that intersection where that fatal happened, and he can tell you statistically, he would tell you what it was going to cost to put a light in there, and that's the kind of a mayor he was, and that was a statesman, and he will be sorely missed by the city of Marana. As a Marana resident, I miss him. Now, I get back to what I prepared. I know I don't look prepared, but I actually prepare. I know that one of the questions we have is, we're now several weeks in, we still have an election going on. That is the process by recounting for the sheriff. That sheriff candidate for us is still suspended. There has still been no service. She's never been served with departmental issues. We have no idea. I keep trying to find out why is she on administrative leave? What in fact has she done? First, it was one thing. Now I'm hearing something about the Hatch Act. Well, the Hatch Act specifically was amended in 2012 to give sheriff's employees the right to compete against their sheriff, and that just made sense in amending that Hatch Act. So when you hear somebody say, "Well, a sheriff's employee can't run against the sheriff," certainly they can. And this is one of the things that we need to do, is get more transparency in this process. Right now, as I understand from talking to Constance, it is waiting to go to a judge. Well, that hearing won't be till the end of the week. So here we are, we're waiting. It will be a month since the election by the time we even get the hearing from the judge, much less what we might do to appeal. So this is, again, we need to clarify, we need transparency, we need to have process. Now, one of the issues that I want to talk about is this immigration issue, because it's still here. After 2 years, we're still talking about it. It's still a crisis. It's still a problem. It aggravates our drug problem, our homeless problem, our employment problems, our welfare problems, our economy, everything. And nothing's actually been done yet. One of the things this election told us was, number one, I think Kennedy brought in the Maha issue, and I think that was very attractive to both parties. But also, I think that the border issue is still a national critical issue. You guys are ground zero for the border issue. So what I want you to look about and think about these things that have got to be understood. Where's this money going? Who are those non-governmental entities that gather all that money and yet have no result? Just like our homeless problem, like our poverty problem. Money, millions and millions goes out unaccounted for, and yet no results, no feedback, no mechanism to measure failure or success. And I think that's all coming around, and that's something we need to do. And again, this is my last time speaking to you as the chairman, but I appreciate you listening, and thank you for your time and attention. Steve, thank you.
Thank you. Robert Royce? And if anyone else wishes to put in a card to call to the audience, please do that. Thank you.
I really don't have a prepared statement, but I do have some thoughts. I've been making the case here for the last 2.5 years that we've come to the end of the line for this two institutional party power parties. And I think this last election made the case. I mean, the tone of the ads was despicable, disgusting. Anybody naive enough to believe the ads, if you're a Republican, well, your guy is a god. He just waves his hand and it shall be done. And the other people are devils sent from hell to plague us. Same thing. For the Democrats, the Republicans are all devils, and if Democrats are not gods, they're certainly saints. I mean, I've been watching these elections since 1960. I mean, I was 9 years old. I had a quick lesson in politics. My mother was the Republican presiding judge of our precinct, which was in my school, which was one house down from our house. And when I think about the respectful way that she treated every single human being that came in the door and compare that to what I saw in this last year in this election, it's bizarre. The Democratic Party decided Kamala Harris should be president. So rather than Joe Biden announcing he wasn't running, they figured they'd get him elected, and then he would retire next year, and we'd have our first black female president. The party bosses know best. The voters didn't buy it. So we're in a situation where we're in Trump land now for 4 years. It's going to be a couple of years. He's going to have control of Congress. The Supreme Court and the courts have been packed with Federalist hacks probably for the rest of our lives. And it's a bad situation. I think the Democrats, certainly the party members, but the party bosses need to consider what they have done to us. We need to come up with a better plan for the next election. Thank you.
Thank you. With no other cards, I'm going to go ahead and close the call to the audience. Ask my colleagues if they wish to ask staff to review a matter, ask that a matter be put on a future agenda, or respond to a criticism.
Madam Chair,
Supervisor Christie.
I would like the information that Ms. Ricard presented on behalf of Ms. Aaron to be sent to the Elections Director for analysis and for a response, particularly the fluctuations that were highlighted as to an explanation of what they actually mean. Thank you.
Thanks. Any other?
Chair
Administrator Lesher.
Sure. Chair Grijalva, Supervisor Christie, and the Elections Director did respond to Ms. Aaron's comments from 2 meetings ago in a document. Happy to make sure that is circulated again.
Were they addressing specifically the
Yes.
Cherry Lake? Okay.
They addressed Ms. Aaron's comments that called to the public from the last meeting.
I do recall that, but I wasn't certain if they did address the specific issues that were raised here.
Today, let us confirm that if there's any additional information today, we'll make sure that we respond.
Thank you.
Any other? Okay, great. Thank you. There is no executive session. So I'll go ahead and move to the Board of Supervisors sitting as other boards, Stadium District Board. This is a contract with Metropolitan Tucson Convention, Visit Tucson, and Arizona Soccer Holdings, doing business as FC Tucson, to provide hospitality and promotional agreement to host a preseason training camp over the course of the next 3 seasons. This item is similar, so if we want to take them together, as the one under Keno Sports Complex, item number 14. So I'll go ahead and move both of those items.
Second.
Have a motion and a second by Supervisor Scott. Discussion.
Madam Chair.
Supervisor Christie, then Supervisor Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's several items that I think warrant explanation.